Thank you all. My name is Michael Todd. I'm the youngest son of Sandy and Owen Todd, and I'm so grateful that my mother is here today. I wish my dad could see me here, and I can only imagine what he would think about what I'm about to announce. I'm running for the Minnesota Senate in District 26 to make life better and easier for Southeast Minnesotans by lowering the cost of living. I represent a new generation of leadership. I grew up in Goodview and graduated from Winona Senior High School and the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh. Since moving back to Winona in 2022, I've invested deeply in my local community, from supporting small businesses as the chair of the Winona Main Street Program's Promotion Committee to volunteering for various local nonprofits. Professionally, I worked the past 3 years in marketing and communications for a local community bank. And in March of 2025, I started my own business. My primary contract is with a Fortune 500 company. My day job is to be a highly effective communicator, and that's the same approach I'll bring to the Minnesota Senate.
All right.
One of the first questions I get asked when I tell friends I'm running is, what finally pushed you over the edge to run for yourself instead of supporting a candidate from behind the scenes? But when Senator Miller announced he would not seek re-election, I reached out to a previous candidate. I said, I'm ready to do the work to get you elected. And they were incredibly gracious. They said, thank you so much. But uno reverse, not me. And I did what any good nerd would do, and I made a massive pros and cons list. And the gist of it is, I have the opportunity to help my neighbors, my friends, and my family. And it's worth it, regardless of the cost. I'm focused on kitchen table issues, the cost of living, of healthcare, and of housing. I'm excited to work for real change. One of the largest everyday expenses for southeastern Minnesota families is the cost of childcare. In Winona, daycare can cost $1,200 a month per child, and many providers have a waiting list so long you need to enroll before you try to get pregnant. When childcare costs as much or more than rent or a mortgage, the numbers don't add up. It is unaffordable to raise a child, let alone the American dream of 2.5 kids. My critics might say that's rich coming from me, a single man with no kids. But I firmly believe that the voters understand their problems far better than me. My job is to convey these problems to the legislature so the problems can be solved. And I might not have my own children, but I do have a family, and I do care deeply about them. I'm the youngest of 3 boys, and as such, I can admit I had a bit of a dramatic streak growing up, as a lot of people in this room can attest. I had a tendency to prolong being sick just so I could stay home and watch Star Wars on VHS. So when I told my mother on the day of my brother's high school band concert that my stomach was hurt, well, she wasn't buying it. And frankly, when you have 3 kids, it doesn't matter if one of you is sick, you're all getting your butts in that minivan and we're going to the concert. So we went, and it was wrong. And by the end of it, I was looking worse for wear. My mom finally conceded that maybe this time I wasn't faking it. And so, not wanting to waste another unnecessary and expensive trip to the hospital, she called a family friend, Dr. Barr, our optometrist. And I am incredibly grateful that she did, because Dr. Barr recognized the signs immediately. I was in need of an emergency appendectomy. My appendix was infected and was on the verge of rupturing. Now, the way it was explained to me, your appendix is this small sac of poison that lives inside of your body for no apparent reason. And sometimes it can get infected, and when it gets infected, it can rupture. And when it ruptures, minutes can be the difference between life and death. If my hospital had been 55 minutes away that day, I might not be here. When we close rural hospitals, we're telling rural Minnesotans that their lives are less important than those in our population centers.
That's right.
That their minutes matter less than someone else's, and it's wrong. We're telling our farmers that they can wait while they're having a heart attack. We're telling mothers that they can drive an hour while in labor, and we're telling our manufacturing workers that they can wait to get those fingertips sewn back on. People can't wait for care in an emergency. And all of us, at some point in our lives, will need emergency care. Communities in southeastern Minnesota deserve to be treated with dignity and urgency. You deserve accessible care. You deserve leaders who will fight to keep your hospitals open. And you deserve a community where your zip code doesn't determine your chances of surviving. If we want a healthy, resilient community, we have to look at the full picture. And that means addressing my final point, the housing crisis. We have a shortage of quality, affordable, and accessible homes and rental units. Young families, the ones we need to keep our schools alive, can't afford to buy a home. And seniors living in multi-story family homes stay where they are in houses that are too large and too hard to maintain because they have nowhere else to go. There are existing solutions to many of the problems we face, but they are underfunded, lapsed, or have been too exclusionary. The state can help by providing tax incentives for building new homes. We can strengthen our down payment and rental assistance programs and increase grants and funds for home repairs and improvements for existing homeowners to maintain their homes and make them even more energy efficient. Yeah. We're going to need all of these solutions and more, because we're facing a multi-generational challenge that's near insurmountable. But when I'm faced with a challenge, I don't back down. I dig in and I fight harder. We're going to need all of us to work together to overcome this challenge. As Paul Wellstone famously said, we all do better when we all do better. And I'm very grateful that my mother taught me that it takes a village to raise a child. Or at least it took one to raise me. I hold these beliefs dearly, and I'll work to uphold these values. I'm laser focused on lowering the cost of living, healthcare, and housing in southeastern Minnesota. I believe an elected representative's first responsibility is to listen, understand, and advocate on behalf of the people they serve. I've built my career on being a highly effective communicator, and that's the same approach that I'll bring to the Minnesota Senate. My name is Michael Todd, and I'm asking for your vote in 2026.